Thank you, Siddharth, for the top 50 updates. Viewers, just when the world seemed to be limping back to normalcy after surviving a crippling Delta wave, images and pictures emerging from China, yes, China, have become an ominous reminder of the horror we thought was over. The threat might have been out of the mind, but was still lurking around and is now back in sight. And it could possibly be worse, viewers, than ever before. And as we speak, estimates suggest that China, struggling to contain possibly the biggest COVID-19 outbreak the world has ever seen, may be recording 1 million COVID-19 cases and 5,000 deaths every day. This is every 24 hours. Over the next few minutes, Times Now will expose the Chinese COVID horror. Visuals that are difficult to watch have now gone viral on social media despite the best efforts of the CCP and Xi Jinping to suppress them. Let's go over these videos one by one. On your screens, look at this video posted by Chinese expert Jennifer Zheng. A young woman visibly struggling to breathe. After a while, you can see her collapsing on the floor. And there are horrified people around. Isn't this frightening, viewers? But this is not alone. Such is the deluge of cases that the health infrastructure is completely overwhelmed in China. The image on your screen is said to be from a medical university hospital in Chongqing. The facility has run out of beds, forced to put even the elderly patients on the floor. This is not exaggeration. All of this is recorded. Now, according to Jennifer Zheng, who posted this image, the machines that you see on the chest of the patient used to replace the human hand to press the heart, because there are no people to assist those who have been brought to the hospitals. They've been left to die. If you thought that was worrisome, there's more. Reports suggest that the daily new cases in China could increase to 3.7 million by the next month and a frightening 4.2 million by March. All the patients that you see in the video and in the previous one have been reported as suffering from severe pneumonia and respiratory failure. And this sharp spike is way beyond what China can handle or wants the world to know about. There has been a propaganda machinery that was unleashed by Xi Jinping. But despite that, slowly but surely now the Chinese COVID horror is tumbling out. Listen to what Jennifer Zheng has said.
Official media of the Chinese Communist Party is totally untrustworthy, and it is harder and harder for foreign journalists to get the true information from the ground, because they are either not allowed to get access to the true information, or they don't have that kind of manpower. A different channel or different source of information, we can confirm the situation is really very bad in Beijing.
Now let's open this up. Joshua Philipp, he's the host of Crossroads and senior investigative reporter at the Epoch Times, the man who understands China like very few do. Joshua, welcome to Times Now. Thank you for speaking to us again. Now, you've done a lot of research on China and the source of Wuhan virus. I remember the documentary when it came out in 2020. A lot was said and written about it. Look, everything that you had indicated then is coming out to haunt China and the world.
Yeah, so back in 2020, I did the documentary investigating the origin of the Wuhan coronavirus and pointed to the lab leak as one of the real plausible theories where this thing came from. Actually, I know you were showing, I saw you were showing videos of the deaths in China right now. I can tell you my sources are saying this is absolutely what is happening right now in China. In fact, my sources are saying it's not even just like regular, people on the street. There are high-ranking Chinese Communist Party officials dying from the virus. What I'm hearing is it's a lot of high-ranking officials. It's a lot of CCP officials in general, and this is absolutely becoming a very big deal for them. And keep in mind, because I know a lot of people would wonder, well, would the CCP want to kind of fake this? Would they want to make a show of this so they can make other countries lock down and ruin their economies. The Chinese Communist Party has what they call a zero COVID policy. They've been really trumpeting their horns, making a big deal over the fact that they say the CCP model is helping suppress the virus, that there's no new virus cases in China. That's been their narrative. And so there being a lot of people dying, there being full hospitals, the fact that the crematoriums are working overtime, this does not go along with their narrative. This actually makes the CCP look very bad. And I think the reports are absolutely true. The virus is killing a lot of people in China right now.
Now, Joshua, we'll talk about the CCP, but just, let me underline the visuals we are playing once again. What you see on your screens, viewers, is that the health infrastructure in China is completely overwhelmed. All those people who are talking and tom-tomming about the China model, this is the reality of the China model. And Joshua Philipp, when you say about the zero COVID policy, it was actually zero COVID control, or that is what it turned out to be in the end.
Well, and I think there's two plausible reasons for this. One thing that a lot of people in the United States are saying is that the Chinese Communist Party basically locked people down worse than any other country on earth. Lockdown after lockdown after lockdown. They had some of the strongest policies in the world when it came to mandatory vaccination. If you want to talk about vaccinations or lockdowns or mask mandates, the CCP did more than anybody. But people pointed to a problem with that, which is people never got natural immunity. People in China have no natural immunity because repeatedly they've been locked down. What you're seeing now is people who've very likely never had the virus, they've never gotten sick from it, and now they have no immunity to deal with it. So it's coming out of left field for them, and they have no way of handling it. The other important thing I'll tell you, and I don't think anybody's talked about this yet, this is probably the biggest story that nobody I've seen has yet said. A lot of Chinese Communist Party officials, the reason they're so afraid of the virus, I'll tell you right now, is because a lot of them have no immune systems. This goes back to the organ harvesting. A lot of Chinese officials have organs from organ transplants. This has to do with some of the biggest human rights abuses happening right now, Falun Gong practitioners who they kill for their organs. One important fact, if you get an organ transplant, you need to take a medication for the rest of your life to suppress your immune system. Otherwise, your body will reject the organ. A lot of Chinese Communist Party officials, high-ranking members, they all have organ transplants. They're all immunocompromised. And a lot of people I know, believe that may be one of the reasons why the CCP is so afraid of the virus, why they had zero COVID. It's because Chinese Communist Party officials are immunocompromised. They are terrified of this. And I think that explains as well why we are seeing right now a lot of them are dying from this. From my sources, a lot of very high-ranking CCP officials are dying right now.
Now let's, talking about the CCP, and correct me if I am wrong, because there are many reports on social media at least, Joshua, that suggest that the CCP officials, the high-ranking ones that you're talking about, held a meeting, a discreet meeting just last week, and instead of addressing the issue, or at least talking about addressing the issue, they were talking about the new propaganda warfare that she wants unleashed to suppress the data and videos.
Yep, and that's another important thing too. So remember, I'll tell you right now, in the United States, a lot of people are very suspicious of the COVID narratives. A lot of people think the CCP, for example, was faking information in order to spread the virus, to make countries, for example, to make countries lock down their economies, shut things down, and basically destroy their economies. That's what a lot of people in the United States believe. The current narrative of the CCP, though, is pushing the China model. Maybe in the original stage where the CCP wanted to spread the virus and basically destroy the global economy, that would make sense. The current objective of the CCP, though, is to spread the China model. They need to make the CCP look good. They need to make it look like what they do works, because they're trying to make other countries adopt their practices. If people are dying right now in China, if the hospitals are full, if CCP leaders are dying, that tells the world that the Chinese Communist Party's model, the lockdowns, the mask mandates...
And very quickly, Joshua, one last question. As someone who knows the COVID reality of China, what's your message to the world? Quickly.
My message to the world that the CCP model has failed. It is right now CCP leaders are dying. They are trying to cover this up. They are dying. This is absolutely what's happening. This is absolutely real.
All right, Joshua Philipp, thank you for speaking to Times Now. Continue the good fight. More power to you.